Here's everything that happened in Rebooted MCU Phase 2, but before we start, let's back up. So, forgot to mention this like I did in the actual RMCU, ironic, I know, but the Space Stone crashed to Earth at the start of Thor was discovered by Jane Foster and seized by S.H.I.E.L.D. during the events of Thor. No stone was used to mind control the Hulk in the Avengers, that was all Loki and his magic. Just to clear that up before we get into it right now. Project number 1 is Captain America, the First Avenger, and it takes place in Universe 1945. So most things in this project stay the same except for the ending, but before we discuss that, this story follows Steve Rogers, played by Chris Evans, who is given the Super Soldier Serum to become Captain America. Rogers eventually enters the fight during World War II to battle Hydra, alongside the Howling Commandos, his best friend Bucky Barnes, played by Sebastian Stan, and Peggy Carter, played by Haley Atwell. The movie ends with Steve and Bucky confronting Red Skull, played by Hugo Weaving, who has control of the Mind Stone, but is suddenly warped away and seemingly killed. His ship is going to explode and kill tons of Americans. Bucky attempts to deactivate the bomb that will kill the Americans, but it explodes, sending Bucky and the Mind Stone falling into the ocean and forces Cap to make an emergency landing, freezing him in the ocean. Rogers would awaken in the year 2012 to the sight of Natasha Romanoff and Tony Stark, and the post-credit scene would reveal Hydra uncovering Bucky Barnes and the Mind Stone from the sea. Project number 2 is Iron Man 3, and it takes place in Universe 2012. The central villain of the project is Zhu Wenwu, played by Tony Leung, the holder of the 10 Rings of Power who is taunting the United States following the Chitauri invasion. This results in many attacks around the United States by the 10 Rings, including one that results in James Rhodes getting injured. This enrages Tony Stark, who publicly calls out the 10 Rings, resulting in an attack on Stark's mansion. Despite Stark allegedly dying in the attack, he is rescued by Nick Fury, who has assigned S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, played by Jeremy Renner, to work with Stark to stop the 10 Rings. This results in Iron Man and Hawkeye teaming up and forming a buddy cop relationship, with the two often bickering and eventually leading them into a trap, resulting in Pepper Potts being captured by Zhu Wenwu. This forces Iron Man, Hawkeye, and a healed War Machine to team up, stopping and killing Zhu Wenwu in the process as S.H.I.E.L.D. confiscates the 10 Rings of Power. And in a post-credit scene, we see Zhu Wenwu's wife holding 2 babies, telling them that their life mission will be to destroy Tony Stark and all he's built. Project number 3 is Thor Rampage of the Hulk, and it takes place in Universe 2012. The project follows Thor as he returns Loki and the Space Stone to Asgard before returning to Earth to find Jane Foster attempting to help Bruce with his Hulk transformations. Thor decides the best course of action would be to bring Banner back to Asgard to see an Asgardian priest, as it might be able to help use magic to provide a cure to his transformations. As all this is going down, Loki encounters the Enchantress, played by Blake Lively, and her executioner, played by Karl Urban, who tell Loki that they know of a location home to a new Infinity Stone, and a buyer who will be willing to give a large reward for its return. Upon Banner's arrival on Asgard, the Enchantress takes control of him, using him to free her and the Executioner from prison, and using Heimdall's sword to transport the trio to Svartalfheim, the land of the Dark Elves. This causes Thor to free Loki, and the duo make their way to Svartalfheim to stop the Enchantress. As they arrive, we see the Enchantress has found the Reality Stone and forces Hulk to attack Thor. Loki manages to free Hulk from the Enchantress and causes the Enchantress to use Heimdall's sword to send Banner back to Earth using the Bifrost, but in the process, the Reality Stone flies into the Executioner, causing him to rampage. This causes Thor, Loki, and the Enchantress to team up, but Loki dies in the process, and the Enchantress creates a capsule to hold the Infinity Stone as Thor defeats the Executioner. Thor then returns the Enchantress to Asgard. Loki is revealed to not have actually died. Shocking, I know. And in the post-credits scene, Jane breaks up with Thor, and we see Heimdall take the Reality Stone to the Collector. Project 4 is Fantastic Four Battle of the Deep, and it takes place in Universe 2013. This movie sees the team from the first film attempt to figure out more information about the cosmic rays. Reed has formulated a plan, saying the strength of the cosmic rays is what impacted their flight the first time. It is now seeking a material called vibranium that they will use to coat their ship in order to repel the cosmic rays. Reed builds a vibranium detector, which indicates that there is a large quantity undersea, but as the team dives down to the bottom of the ocean to find it, they are attacked by Namor the Submariner, played by Raul Castillo, who destroys their submarine and captures Sue, who who he says will become his wife. Reed vows to get Sue back by building a stronger submarine and returning to rescue Sue. The vibranium detector indicates that there is vibranium somewhere in Africa, forcing the group to travel to Wakanda, where they encounter King T'Chaka, played by John Connie, Queen Ramonda, played by Angela Bassett, and their 2 children, Prince T'Challa, played by Michael B. Jordan, and Princess Shuri, played by Latita Wright. While they are originally hostile towards the trio, things change as Namor attacks Wakanda for talking with the group, taking T'Chaka, Ramonda, and Shuri hostage back in Atlantis. This forces the Fantastic Four to team up with T'Challa, who temporarily assumes the title of Black Panther. Using a vibranium submarine, they travel to Atlantis, defeat Namor, and save the hostages. As a sign of gratitude, T'Chaka gifts the Fantastic Four their vibranium submarine and declares the Fantastic Four friends of Wakanda. The post-credit scene shows Atuma complaining about Namor's leadership. Project number 5 is Ant-Man and the Wasp Nano Battle and takes place in Universe 2013. Things are going great in the lives of Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne, as Pym Technologies has been a great force for good around the world. However, this time of joy is short-lived as Darren Cross, played by Corey Stoll, the CEO of Cross Industries, announces a new line of robotic soldiers to be used in war. Fury shows up and reveals that AIM managed to hack into Hank's computer and steal his research and gave the information to Cross to create their new soldiers. This causes Hank and Janet to team up in order to take down Cross and his AIM allies. We see Cross assume the title of Yellow Jacket and gain the upper hand on both Hank and Janet, before Janet grows giant for the first time and saves the day. The project ends off with Hank vowing to continue the creation of a robotic task force that will protect the Earth and not leave people in reliance on the Avengers. In the post-credit scene, Iron Man and Captain America tell the duo that they have located Hydra's new base in Sokovia. Project number 6 is Avengers Age of Ultron, and it takes place in Universe 2014. The Avengers lineup includes Iron Man, Captain America, Ant-Man, Wasp, Thor, and Black Widow. The team attacks the Hydra base mentioned at the end of Nano Battle and recover the Mind Stone. Using the Mind Stone, Stark and Pym create Ultron, voiced by James Spader, who believes that the Avengers are a threat to the world and determines that in order to save the world, he will need to destroy it. In order to build a stronger body, Ultron seeks to obtain vibranium, killing King T'Chaka in the process. T'Challa becomes king and officially assumes the title of Black Panther, choosing to help the Avengers take down Ultron. While Ultron attempts to build his forces, Stark and Pym use the Mind Stone to create the Vision, voiced by Paul Bettany. This leads the team to Sokovia in order to stop Ultron from lifting the city up and dropping it down to destroy the Earth. During the battle, S.H.I.E.L.D. arrives to help out, bringing both War Machine and Hawkeye with them. The battle ends with Hulk returning to the battlefield to help his friends, Ultron being destroyed, and the Avengers saving the day, with the large number of casualties caused by battle as a result. In the end, Iron Man retires, Hank and Janet take a step back from the team, Thor returns to Asgard, Hulk runs away, Black Panther returns to Wakanda, while Cap becomes the head of the new Avengers team featuring Black Widow, Hawkeye, War Machine, and Vision. And the post-credit scene is Thanos. Project number 7 is Spider-Man, and it takes place in Universe 2014. Meet Peter Parker, played by Tom Holland, a student at Midtown High whose day-to-day life revolves around hanging with his best friend Ned Leeds, played by Jacob Batalon, and dealing with his bully Flash Thompson, played by Phil Dunster, and making time for his Aunt May, played by Marissa Tomei. His life changes forever while attending an internship through a partnership at Oscorp, headed by Norman Osborn, played by William Dafoe, and Stark Industries. While touring Oscorp, he is bitten by a radioactive spider, giving him superpowers. Peter, with help from Ned, learns to hone his powers, while Osborn, in an attempt to save his company following a slowdown in production caused by a mass vigilante, takes a serum that gives him powers, and building weapons from illegally obtained Chitauri tech, he becomes the Green Goblin. Green Goblin attacks both Oscorp and Stark Tower, forcing Peter to spring into action as Spider-Man. Giving his all, Peter defeats Osborn, but chooses not to kill him, remembering his Uncle Ben's famous quote, "With great power comes great responsibility." During the battle, Peter's mask comes off, revealing his identity to Osborn, who's taken to the raft after his defeat. Spider-Man then begins his career as an everyday superhero. In the post-credit scene, we see Stark, who found out Peter's identity from the security cam footage of the fight with Osborn, and gives Peter an upgraded suit. And in the second scene, we see attorney Matt Murdock, played by Charlie Cox, say that he needs to pay the new hero in Queens a visit. And that does it for Phase 2. Whether you are a longtime fan who needed a recap or a new viewer hoping to get caught up, I hope these recap videos will be helpful to you and increase your enjoyment of Rebooted MCU. Anyways, look out for more of these videos coming soon. This has been JT, and I will see you all next time.